For 2020, Merida Bikes is offering a lineup of all mountain and enduro sleds that favors the 27.5 side of that debate. In fact, there are number 29ers in the lineup until their model's travel squishes down to the 120mm mark. Despite its 440mm reach and 165/170ths of a millimeter of travel, the bike felt noticeably small and agile. Its natural habitat is either on tight and twisty singletrack where precise handling is paramount, or big huck jump lines where the suspension will come in handy. If you are on the hunt for a long travel party bike, I would recommend giving it a long look, but if it's a throttle open plow you seek, you will likely want to order the bike in a size larger than usual to increase stability. The 160 Enduro line is split into 2 carbon bikes and 2 alloy builds. With a 12-speed Shimano XT drivetrain, SLX brakes, a race face effect crankset, a RockShox Yari RC fork, and Super Deluxe Select Plus shock, customers are getting a solid build for the price. Apart from the Baller Maxxis Assegai and DHR tire selection with Exo Plus casings, the build was largely made up of Merida's Expert TR alloy house brand components. The geometry table for the 160 frame is generally on par with its peers. The size medium I rode has a short-ish 440mm reach and 430mm chainstays with a 65.3 degrees head-tube angle that stretches to a total 1189mm between the axles. The 6066 series triple-butted and hydroformed aluminum frame uses a carbon rocker arm to actuate its trunnion-mounted floating suspension design. According to Merida, the float-link rear end creates the feeling of almost bottomless travel whilst remaining perfectly controlled when climbing. The frame's internal routing includes a series of clamps at the main entrance and exit ports, making for a genuinely quiet ride through the trees. Those same cable ports are D2 approved, should you choose to electrify the bike. The shift cable and brake hose exit the frame beneath an equally internal BB92 bottom bracket. Pedaling toward the peak aboard the 160 revealed a few standout characteristics. The RockShox Super Deluxe Select Plus shock has a fairly light tune, and with 20% sag, the rear end bobbed considerably. It's important to note that this model of the Super Deluxe shock doesn't include a slow or fast compression adjustment, and if you want to firm it up without overinflating the shock you will need to have it retuned or replaced. Similar to the way that some bikes can feel lighter than the scale suggests, the 160-700 feels smaller than its geo table suggests. Depending on how you ride, that sensation could be a benefit or a challenge. Finally, while the build is solid, I did have some trouble with the house brand dropper post running sluggishly in cold weather. The rims are particularly good looking, with a dialed 29mm internal width and just the right ratio of stiffness and flex where they need it. At nearly 15 kilos, the 160-700 build holds a respectable weight for an enduro big squisher.